Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ground and Pound podcast, best bets video for UFC 317. Charles Oliveira taking on Ilia Topuria, pay-per-view at T-Mobile Arena. And as always, if you're enjoying the content here on the Ground and Pound podcast, hit that like and subscribe button for the hot streak that our slam of the week has been on here on this channel for the UFC best bets. And without further ado, let's get right in to our slam of the week, our confident parlay. This bet has hit 5 of the last 6 events, looking to make it 6 of 7, and kicking things off, it's El Matador, the man himself in the main event, Ilia Topuria by KO or decision. Honestly, I think Ilia will probably finish Charles inside the first 3 rounds, as much as it pains me to say, as I am a huge Charles Oliveira fan. I just think that Ilia's boxing, I think the power, I think the way that he rips to the body and comes upstairs, the forward pressure is going to be a little bit too much for Charles here in the main event. I think that he gets it done inside the distance, but just to be safe, just in case Charles does prove to be tough, he is obviously fighting for the belt. He may show some toughness, so we're going to take the KO decision prop, double method here to kick things off for the first leg of our confident slam bet. And our second leg here is Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop. I think that he probably finishes Jack Hermansson. Carlos and I see this fight very differently. I see Rodriguez getting his hand raised either by TKO, by submission, or by decision. Either way, I think the money line here is good value here for the second leg of our slam of the week. Sitting at plus 100. I got a little bit earlier on in the week. It's sitting around plus 103, plus 104 when I took it. Still plus money right now. Slam of the week, looking to make it 6 of our last 7. And I think that this one hits. I feel good in El Matador and RoboCop to get it done for us. And next up, as always, we have the chalk parlay, some of the chalky lines, some of the big favorites parlayed together here to get us to even money. And first off, we have Tracy Cortez and Viviana Araujo over 1.5 rounds. I think this one probably goes the distance. Both women very durable. Both women not necessarily known for their finishing ability. However, I do think this one gets to the distance. However, we're taking the over 1.5 here just to get us to the even money target. And next up, we have Jacoby Smith inside the distance here. I think he's probably going to finish Nico Price inside the first round, maybe even second. But we'll just take him inside the distance here. The fantastic high-level wrestling out of Oklahoma State, junior national champion wrestler, Division I, 3-time All-American Division I wrestler. And also, you saw in his last fight against Preston Parsons, he has dynamite in the hands, always improving, always showing different levels and skill sets to his game. I think he gets it done inside the distance here. Nico Price has taken too much damage. I like this second leg here to get it done. And next up, to round things out, we have Felipe Lima. And I debated whether to go with Felipe Lima here or Terrence McKinney. I ended up going with Felipe Lima just because I think that he has more ways to beat Peyton Talbot. I do think that here the grappling will be the main path to victory here for Felipe Lima. He demonstrated in most of his fights now, 14-1. He can get it done with the hands. He can get it done with the wrestling and the grappling. I'd like to see him implement the grappling here against Peyton Talbot. He's shown an inability to defend takedowns. I think Lima comes in and wrestles heavy. If not, he can also win the striking exchanges. He is very, very good at back takes as well, so he's obviously live for a submission. But I like all 3 of these legs to round it out here for the chalk parlay, sitting at around minus 103. It might be even money now, as some of the odds might have come and changed around, especially by Saturday. Keep an eye out for that. I'm getting it here at roughly around even money. I like the chalk parlay for these heavy favorites here to cash for us as our second parlay of the best bets. And next up, our first money line play. Give me Brandon Royval here, sitting at plus 100. This line's been flipping back and forth. One guy's the favorite, one guy's the underdog. I think what we have to remember here is that Joshua Van, although he is 23, been very impressive, 7-1 inside the UFC. We do have to remember that Brandon Royval was training, having a full training camp, getting ready to face a guy like Manel Kape. Manel Kape, obviously, for whatever reason, had to pull out of this fight, and in steps Joshua Van on short notice. So the thing I will say is this is a big step up in competition. The top 5 of this division is an absolute murderer's row. But you have to remember that Royval's been training for a guy who has fantastic hand speed, faster than Van, better striker than Van, who also has fantastic takedown defense. So Royval's actually been having a whole full training camp for a guy who's much more dangerous on the feet, much faster on the feet, and has better takedown defense with more experience. So I think he's going to be ready for a guy like Joshua Van. He doesn't have to worry about the kicks of Van, which he did with Kape. It's mostly going to be the boxing. I think Royval Royval can get this done here at plus money. Full training camp for Royval. He's fantastic in the scrambles. He's got great kicks. He's going to have the height and reach advantage here. And we have to remember that although Van has looked impressive, he is still only 23 here. Give me the plus money or even money here for Royval to get it done here in our money line play. And our next play here is going to be Kai Kara France plus 5.5 on the spread. That just means that we need him to win at least 2 rounds in this 5-round co-main event title fight, and also over 1.5. It's going to be a same game parlay bet builder style bet here to get us to plus 102. I think people are really underestimating how close I think this fight's going to be. Pantoja, obviously a fantastic champion on a huge win streak right now. Very durable, very tough. He does leave a lot of openings though. He does swing very wild. His entries on his takedowns aren't the best, and he does have a lot of heart, but I think realistically here, Kai Kara France is the more technical striker. He's shown in the past in multiple fights that he's very tough to take down and hold down. In his fight with Askar Askarov, the high-level wrestler, he couldn't take him down, so I don't think Pantoja is necessarily going to have as much success than people think here in the wrestling, and I think when it comes to the striking, I think Kai Kara France is probably a little bit more technical, a little bit more of a sniper here. Now, I do think Pantoja wins the fight. I do think he grits out a decision here, but I think the fight's going to be much closer than people think, especially the odds suggest. The plus 5.5 here to me is almost getting us to even money. The over 1.5 just gets us there for the plus money. Same game parlay bet builder here. Kai Kara France, just to keep this one close, but I do think Pantoja wins, but gets us to plus money for our second little play here on our best bets. And as always, people, every single week, my favorite betting underdog, the dog of the week, the one that I like the most on this UFC 317 card. And if you haven't seen it already, this week's dog of the week is Haider Amil, Haider the Hurricane Amil. And if you guys are interested in that full highlight reel video, along with a full breakdown, keys to victory as to why I like Haider Amil this week is my favorite betting underdog, I'll leave a link for that in the description. I'll leave it at the end of the video for you guys to check out. The Hurricane gets it done this week. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. Haider Amil getting it done. Dog of the week. And for our prop section this week, ladies and gentlemen, we have Terrence McKinney, first round submission, plus 450. I like Terrence McKinney here to get it done early with the grappling. We know with Terrence McKinney, it's going to be first round or bust, but we know with Vyacheslav Borshev, people like to take him down. He has not necessarily the best wrestling defense, and people love to take him to the ground. I think McKinney comes out early. I think he wrestles. I think he softens him up with ground and pound, and I think ultimately takes the back and finds the rear naked choke here for plus 450. I like McKinney to get it done by submission. I think the TKO is obviously live, but I just think that what he'll like to do here is just soften him up. Borshev will look to give up his back. He'll take the back and he'll choke him out. Give me Terrence McKinney here, first round submission. And the second prop here is Viviane Araújo. I think realistically this is just a play on the number. I think there's value here to be had. I think both women are probably going to win by decision. Although either woman is going to win by decision here, excuse me. I think this one sees the judges' scorecards. But I just think Viviane Araújo here is sitting at plus 333. I just think there's value to be had. I think she hits a little bit harder. I think she's a little bit more athletic. Women's MMA sometimes can be much closer than the odds suggest. And also we've seen with Tracy Cortez, some of her fights have been left a little bit close. She doesn't necessarily stand out in any one skill set. I just think Viviane Araújo has faced a tougher level of competition. So I could see this one being a close fight, a split decision, and maybe we get lucky here at the big plus money for Viviane Araújo here by decision as our second prop of the night here at UFC 317 best bets. And that is all we have time for this week, ladies and gentlemen. That is the best bets, but coming up on the channel and some videos that are already live on the channel, as I mentioned, we've got the dog of the week. That is my favorite betting underdog, Haider Amil, the Hurricane Amil, full highlight reel tape for you guys, along with a full breakdown of why I like him as my favorite betting underdog this week. And the full card breakdown for UFC 317 is live on the channel. Oliveira, Ilia Topuria, all the way live at T-Mobile Arena. Carlos and I broke down that full entire fight card this week. Check that out on the channel. A link should be popping up for these videos any second now. And the full card breakdown for the PFL World Tournament, middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights this week. That's also live on the channel. And we will catch you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe for the bets. Our bets have been absolutely killing it this week. Like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.